Hi, welcome to Math 112 IN2 for the spring 2023 semester at SWIC. My name is Jennifer Simonton and I'm your instructor for this course. I just wanted to take a few minutes to walk you through some of the important things you're going to need to know to help you get started and to be successful this semester. So, the first thing we're going to do here is you're going to need to log into Blackboard. If you're watching this video, it means you've either logged into Blackboard and seen the announcement or you've seen the email that I sent out with the link to it. All right, so if you have not yet logged into Blackboard, that is the first thing you need to do. Okay, when you do this, you will come to this screen where the announcement is. All right, so throughout this video, we are going to go through all of the syllabus and walk through how to get signed up in MyMathLab and all those things. So let's start with the MyMathLab. Okay, the first thing you're going to be asked to do once you've watched the video is to get registered in MyMathLab. Okay, so if you click on first the syllabus tab right here, okay, there's two documents, course syllabus and then the MyMathLab student registration instructions. So we're going to start with this second file right here. All right, so if we open this up, this is going to walk you step by step through the process of getting signed up in MyMathLab so you can do your assignments. All of our assignments are contained in MyMathLab. Blackboard for this class will be where you go to access that. It'll also be where you go to find your lecture videos and lecture notes, but the assignments are contained in MyMathLab. All right, so once you're into Blackboard, you're going to click on your course, which is what you're going to see here, what you're seeing on the screen. Okay, you're going to click on that access code button. Okay, so I would maybe print these off or have these handy as you're going through here. So over here where it says access code. Okay. So if you click on access code right here, then you're going to be needing to locate your math courses, okay, which is right here. Okay. Once you get to there, you're going to click on reveal access code. I can't click on it because I'm not a student, so I don't have one, but when you click on that, they're going to give you this long list of numbers and letters that's going to make no sense. Okay, you can copy that code. I would probably write it down also, but I think it'll allow you to copy it through your mouse so you can paste it in later where you need to paste it. Okay, so that's what you need to do first. All right, then you're going to go back to your course page here, and then you're going to click on MyMathLab. Okay, once you do that, you're going to click on Pearson. Okay, when I've already done this, okay, for my account, so I'm not going to see the same things when I click on Pearson, but when you click on Pearson, then those instructions that we were looking at will walk you through how to get signed up and get registered in our course. Okay, all right, so that's found under the syllabus tab, and it's this document that you're going to need to follow the directions for. Okay, so once you have done all of that, you'll be ready to go. All right, so let's click on the syllabus right here, and we will walk through all the other things. Okay, so at the beginning right here at the top just gives my name, information about the class. We are an online class, so there's no location, my email address. This is the best way to get in contact with me if you have questions about things. Where my office is located, I'm in the second floor of the main complex, room 2047. If you need to see me in person for office hours, or if you want to set something up via Teams, just let me know and we can work that out. Okay, I'm in my office for office hours every day of the week this semester from 9 to 9:50. I know that's not a great time for most people. If it is, you're welcome to pop in without an appointment. If you want to see me outside of those hours or via Teams instead, just send me an email and that should not be a problem to set something up. Okay? All right, email is the best way to reach me quickly. I will try to respond quickly. My rule is usually 24 hours, but most often you're going to get a response way sooner than that. All right, also you should be checking your emails, your SWIC email several times a week. Okay, that's how I'm going to communicate with you. Every single week I will at least be sending out one email that is also posted as an announcement in Blackboard to remind you of all the things that you should be doing during that week and just to check in to make sure everything's going okay. But if you're not checking email, you're not going to get that information. Also, just a reminder that for this class and all of our math classes at SWIC, proctor testing is a requirement of this course. So you will need to plan to come to campus a few times during the semester to take your required test and the final exam. Okay, we'll talk more about that on pages 3 and 4. Okay, there is a remote option, okay, if you would like to utilize that, but there's not enough remote appointments for everybody to do that remotely, and there are certain requirements to utilize that. But if you have to, that is a possibility. Okay, course description, prerequisites, course objectives, all of that stuff you can read on your own. I'm not going to read that to you. It's just basically a detailed list of all the topics that we have to cover. All right, here we are at textbook and course materials. All right, you're required to sign up for my Math Lab. We talked about that, how to do that with the directions on that other document. That will include all the course materials you need. Okay, with the exception of the lecture videos and lecture notes, those are housed here in Blackboard, but all of the assignments that are graded are contained in my Math Lab. Okay, that access code provided in Blackboard is what you're going to need. You do not need to buy anything. Okay, if you would like a physical copy of the textbook, this is what we're using, but you do not need to purchase that unless you just want to have a hard copy. The ebook is contained in your My Math Lab site. If you want to look at the textbook for any reason. All right, you will also need a graphing calculator, preferably. If you have a scientific one, it will work fine for most things, especially early on, but there are a couple of things that we'll encounter throughout the semester where I'll explain how to do things using a graphing calculator that will save you a lot of time. Okay, and if you're familiar with using a graphing calculator, you can certainly use it on other things as well, not just the things that I talk about in the lecture notes. But I just want to point out that there are a couple of different things that if you don't have a graphing calculator, you're going to be at a disadvantage in terms of time on a test because it just makes it go a lot faster. All right, all coursework will be done in My Math Lab, including tests and your final exam. Okay, tests and final you have to take at the testing center. We have a location in Belleville and at the Granite City campus. All other assignments, homework, and test reviews, and watching the videos and all that stuff you can complete on your own time. All right, although this class is online, it is not self-paced, meaning that there are due dates for things and there's a penalty for not completing homework by the due date. All right, tests if you don't have them done by the due date, you can't take them. Okay, you have to use your final exam as a replacement. There are no makeups for tests. All right, so pay attention to those dates. You can always take things early, like if the due date where it says it's due by this certain day and that you're not available that day, then you can always schedule it early, so it's important to know how to plan ahead. All right, there's a calendar with all that stuff on it later on that we'll get to in just a minute. This is the breakdown of how your grade is calculated. It's just a regular 10-point grading scale. 10% of your grade is homework. The test review assignments, which are your study guides for your exams, are worth 5% of your grade altogether. The tests themselves are worth 60%, and then the final exam is worth 25%. All right, so you'll be needing to use both Blackboard and My Math Lab to be successful in this course this semester. Before you begin homework, you are encouraged to open, view, and take notes on the lecture notes. on the lecture videos that are posted in Blackboard under course content and in the lecture videos folder. Please do not skip this step. Okay, this is the equivalent of going to class. Okay, you have to have some way of learning the material. Right, you have to watch the video, go through the examples, write them down. Right, you have to find time to do that on your own. The written out lecture notes that you see me talk about in the videos are also posted in Blackboard under the lecture notes folder. So you can utilize those if you don't want to write everything out yourself, but honestly I would encourage you to watch the video, take your own notes, keep a notebook with notes in it, keep a separate notebook where you write out your steps for the homework problems just like you would normally if you were in a face-to-face class. Okay, but the lecture notes are posted for you for your convenience. All right, homework is assigned in My Math Lab for every section that we cover. Okay, it's set up as a learning tool. You can try problems multiple times before you get them correct. If you try it, I think it gives you usually it'll give you 3 tries on a problem before it'll finally mark it wrong. If it does mark it wrong, you can always click a button that says similar exercise or similar problem and just start over with new numbers. And if you get that one right, it doesn't matter if you tried it 12 times. If you eventually get it right, you get full credit. So that's what I mean by a learning tool. There are due dates, however, and your homework for the whole semester is worth 50 points. Let me back up here before we go any further and kind of show you where to access these videos and the lecture notes. Okay, so over here on this left hand side here, the announcements tab is where you come in when you first click on the course. The syllabus we looked at a minute ago, that's where we're at right now, looking at this document, and that's where the instructions for the MyMathLab are. Right, this is where you find your access code. All right, if you click on course content right here, that's where you'll find your lecture videos and lecture notes. Okay, so if you click on the videos folder, things are broken down by which test they're on. So for test number 1, here are all the videos in this folder. So if you click on a video, it'll take you out to YouTube, and you'll be watching me, you'll hear me explaining problems that you'll be seeing on the screen that come from the lecture notes for that particular section. I'll walk you through step by step how to do each of those problems. Okay. If you come back over here and click on the lecture notes folder, again, they're broken down by test. So if you click on material for test 1, okay, if you open up this document, if I click section 1.5, right, it shows you this is what I would be writing down in class, in a face-to-face class as people are taking notes. This is what you see on the screen in the video, and you hear me explain every step of every one of these problems and how to do it. Okay? All right. So all of that is contained under course content. Okay. All right, so let's go back to our syllabus here. All right, so that is where you go to watch the videos and get access to your notes. All right, when you go to do the homework, you're going to be doing that in MyMathLab. Okay, same thing for test reviews. They're in MyMathLab. They're assigned, there's one before each test and one before the final. Again, they're set up as homework. Okay, there's a slight difference in the test reviews. Okay, you don't have access to view an example, and you only get 4 tries per question. In other words, you can only click similar exercise 4 times, and then it doesn't let you do that anymore. Those assignments are only worth 5 points apiece, and they do have a due date, but they are your study guide for the test. Every test question is similar to a question on your test review, so they are extremely important to do. All right, tests are also done in MyMathLab. Okay, we have 3 of them. They'll cover 2 to 3 chapters of material. Each test is worth 100 points. These are the ones you have to make an appointment for and take in our testing center. When you show up at the testing center, you'll have to make sure that you tell them which test you're going to take, and that you have a photo ID. It doesn't have to be a SWIC ID, but it has to be an ID. It can be a driver's license or whatever with your photo on it. When you arrive at the testing center, you'll log into MyMathLab at a computer through Blackboard, click on your tab to find your test, and then once you open it, the proctor will have to enter a password for you. All right, the only restriction on it, you will be able to use a calculator, a graphing calculator, like we talked about earlier, but you cannot use one that has a CAS, meaning a computer algebra system. The TI-89 is not allowed, nor is the TI Inspire with the CAS version of that. Okay, so that you will not be allowed to use those calculators, nor can you use your cell phone as a calculator. Okay, they make you put your cell phone away before you enter the testing center. All right, so make sure that you're prepared with the TI-83 or 84 or some non-CAS version of a graphing calculator, or just a scientific calculator. The final exam review, just like the regular reviews, only it covers everything for the final. It's your study guide for the final. And the final exam, again, it's just a longer version of the test, and that is due by May 17th. Okay, so before we get into the other part here of this section, I want to go up to show you what this looks like when you get into MyMathLab. Oops. All right, so once you've gone through the registration instructions for MyMathLab and gotten signed up, when you come back in to do homework, you're going to log into Blackboard, and you're going to come over here on the left side, and you're going to click on MyMathLab. Okay, I'm going to go exit preview because I'm not a student, so it's not going to like it if it tries to do this in student mode for me. Okay, so anyway, MyMathLab, and then you're going to click on Pearson. Okay, once you've signed up, this is what you're going to see. Okay, you won't see what I'm seeing when I click this until you've done the registration process. All right, so you'll get to here, you're going to ask it to open Pearson. And then you won't see instructor tools, but you'll see these student links, and you can just click on all math, or the MyLab math all assignments. Okay, and then here are your assignments, right? All of the homework assignments, the final exam, the regular tests, the test reviews, etc. Okay, and here are the due dates. All right, so if I click on 1.5 homework, okay, it shows me, it's going to show you that if you complete assignments late, you're going to get deducted 15% from the questions you do late. But otherwise, if you miss the due date, you can still do them. You'll get partial credit, but not full credit. All right, so if I'm ready to start here, I'm going to click on question number 1. All right, and then you'll just go through and answer the questions. All of these things we'll talk about in the video if you watch the video ahead of time and look at your lecture notes. So you should have all that information already. All right, so solve by factoring. Okay, so you are going to solve that equation. However, you don't have to solve it by factoring, but finding solution to the equation given. And then it says to type it in here, it says pay attention to these blue directions, okay, because MathLab is very, very, very picky about format. All right, it says use a comma to separate answers as needed and to type your solution only once. So they're not looking for x equals anything, they're just looking for numbers, right, the numbers that make that true. Okay, so I'm going to show you what happens when you get the answer wrong. All right, so the solution set is, let's say I type 2, -4. And I click check answer down here. Tells me it's wrong. Okay. All right, tries to give you a little bit of a hint on what you're supposed to be doing. All right. So I click OK. And I can come over here and I can try again. It didn't mark it wrong quite yet. It's going to let me try it 3 times. All right, so let's see. How about x equals, now watch how I, -2, x equals 10, okay? I'm going to show you what happens when you have it in the wrong format. Check answer, okay? Again, it just says try again. That's not correct. Okay? Partially the reason it's not is they don't want x equals. So then maybe I think, okay, I don't need x equals, so let's take that out. Let's just, I still think my answer is 2, or is -2 and 10. Notice it says final check down here at the bottom. That down there. All right, so it says final check. So after this, it's gonna, if it's wrong, it's gonna make me try a different problem. Okay, so that happens to be right. Notice all I did was take out the x equals. Okay, so if it's not the right form, it's not going to take the answer. It's going to mark it wrong. So once it tells you it's correct, if you click next question, you'll get a little green check mark here. All right. Here, I'm just going to type in the wrong answer 3 times. Check answer. Just to show you what happens if you get it wrong. And then my final check. Finally, it says, okay, this is what you put, this is what it should have been. Okay, if I just click next question, it's going to mark it wrong. Okay, but if I come over here and click similar question, okay, notice it just changed the numbers. But I'm still on question 2 and it marked it wrong, but I get another attempt. So I can do this as many times as I need to until I get it right, and if I answer this one right, or however many times it takes me, it'll change that to a green check mark. So I'll get full credit for that. Okay, if you're stuck and need help, notice these buttons down here. You can view Help Me Solve This. This will walk you through this problem, but it will not give you credit for it because it helped you. You'll have to try a similar problem to get credit. Most people like this one the best. View an example. It'll give you an example of step-by-step how to do the problem that looks similar to this one. It may or may not be identical to my explanation, but it'll still be correct. And then to get more help, you can watch a video. This is not my video. This is my MathLab's video, so just a different video of someone explaining how to do a problem like this. You can view the textbook and read their examples. Or if you click Ask My Instructor, you can send me an email and it'll link me directly to this question where I can see what problem that you were stuck on. Okay? But those are there if needed. All right, so let's say that I'm out of time and I have to stop here. I didn't finish, so I'm just going to click Save. So it'll tell me when I come back to this to finish that I've already done this one correctly, but I was stuck here and I had got that wrong, so I can go back and try that again and pick up where I left off. Okay? All right, so that is how MyMathLab works, okay? And then when you're finished, you can just close out of your browser up here at the top, and that'll take you back to your MyMathLab, and then I would just close out of that, and then if you click on home here, right, you're back to there, okay? All right, so that is how MyMathLab works. All right, let's go back to our syllabus. Okay, so we know how to get to MyMathLab, we know how to do homework. All right, so as you saw on that example that we did, you just type in an answer, right? And it's right or wrong. On a test, you don't get those 3 tries, right? On a test, so you just type in an answer and you move on. It doesn't tell you if you're right or wrong, okay? You just do them all and click submit and it gives you a grade. All right, so if you would like to receive partial credit for wrong answers on a test and on the final, okay, those are the ones that are not homework assignments where you have all that multiple tries and help buttons and all that. Okay, if you use your scratch paper to show your work in an organized fashion of some sort, then the testing center can send that back to me and I can review your scratch paper and give you partial credit, okay, if I can follow along and see where your mistakes are. So for example, on that one where I typed in x equals -2, x equals 10, and it said wrong, if you type that in on a test, it would say, it would count it wrong. Clearly that was the right answer, just had it in the wrong form, so I could give you full credit for that later. Okay, so that's that kind of thing. Or if you got the wrong answer, but you got halfway through the problem and showed all your work, then I can give you half credit, where you get some points instead. All right. Late and makeup work. All right, so again, there are due dates for homework. So for homework, not including your test reviews, even though they're homework assignments, you can do them late for partial credit. So if all homework is typically due on a Friday. All right, so if you don't get them done by Friday and you have to work on them on Saturday or Sunday, that's fine. You just are deducted 15% of the score that you get for anything done after your due date. Don't ask me for an extension, okay? Your extension is, you can still get 85% credit for doing them even if you do them late, okay? I do not give extensions on homework unless like MyMathLab is down and nobody can access it for an extended period of time, then I'll just change the due date, okay? But like if you don't do any homework at all until April, right, that's fine. Yeah, I would not suggest that, but you can still go back and do things that were due previously, but you only get 85% credit. All right, your no makeup privileges for missing a test or the final. Okay, at the end of the semester, one missed test score can be replaced with your final exam score, and any additional missed tests are scored to 0. There are only 3 tests. Okay, you can miss one, and then whatever you get on the final becomes that missed grade. But if you miss 2, one of them is going to be a 0. Also, if you take all 3 tests, but your final exam grade's higher than your lowest, I will replace your lowest with your final exam grade, okay, to help you out a little bit. But regardless, the final exam is 25% of your grade no matter what. It just might also count as a test grade if necessary. All right, let's see. These other things you can kind of read on your own. This is just listing our core competencies for this course. This is kind of important here in terms of attendance and participation. We don't attend class for online, but you need to be showing that you are keeping up with assignments. So if you are not active in the course prior to the 10th day roster, meaning that you have not communicated with me at all, you have not been in Blackboard, you have not registered in MyMathLab, you could get withdrawn. Or if there goes throughout the semester a period of more than 7 days in a row where you don't do any homework and you don't log in and you don't contact me, you might be withdrawn for non-participation, okay? That may happen before the date of April 6th, okay? I will not be withdrawing anyone for any reason because I can't after that date, okay? The official deadline to withdraw from this class, I believe, is April 7th, which is the next day. However, the college is closed that day for the Easter holiday, so if you're going to withdraw yourself on April 7th, you would have to do so online. Okay, I would just enforce that if you intend to withdraw from the class, it is your responsibility to do so. Okay, do not assume that I am going to do it. Okay, even if you go for a while and don't log in, I'm not automatically going to drop you. Okay, it just kind of just depends on the situation. All right, but after April 6th, I cannot give a withdrawal. Most of this other stuff is stuff you can read on your own. I would encourage you to click on these links for policies and procedures about disability access, weather-related closures, things like that. These are just what the information is on the SWIC website for that, and most of the other stuff is pretty self-explanatory. Okay, all right, if you keep scrolling down, this is an important part of this syllabus. This gives you sort of a one place to find where all your assignments are due, and kind of a nice handy little thing to have reference to. All right, so notes up here at the top, good time management is key to being successful in an online course. Okay, you are encouraged to work ahead. Okay, do not make a habit of waiting until the due date to begin your assignments, especially homework. Okay, you should be working throughout the week just as you would if you were attending face-to-face. Okay, whenever I teach this class face-to-face, we meet 4 days a week. All right, so if you're waiting until Friday, January 20th to do all of the homework, early on, it's only a couple sections at a time, and stuff is fairly quick. Maybe you're getting by, but as things get harder down here and you start having, maybe 3 sections in a week to do, starting on the due date, especially later in the day, is going to not be a good strategy. Okay, you can always work ahead. Okay, if you want to get in there today and knock out 3 weeks of homework tonight, fine, no problem at all. If you want to take test 1 next week, fine. All right, you just cannot do it after this date. Okay, I put everything on a Friday just to make things easy. Right, so our weekends on Friday. We start Saturday, we end on Friday. So the first week ends January 20th. These 2 sections of homework must be completed for you to not have a penalty. Right, and then they move along here. So our first test has to be done by February 10th. It can be done before that, but that's the deadline. Second test is right before spring break. Third test, week 12. And then here's where it gets a little different in terms of due dates because we end kind of in the middle of a week. Our last week through May 5th, our last 2 sections of homework, but then this last week and a half really is kind of together. The deadline to receive partial credit for late homework is Friday, May 12th. You have till that Sunday, May 14th, to get the final exam review completed, and then the semester ends, technically finals end on a Wednesday. So your final exam has to be done by Wednesday, May 17th. Okay? All right, but again, these are just final dates. Okay? Any of these things can be and hopefully will be completed before the actual due date. Okay? All right, if you have any questions about anything whatsoever that I have talked about on here, please don't hesitate to let me know. One more quick thing I want to point out over here that would be helpful. We talked about testing at the testing center. Okay, so if you click over here on this testing center information, all right, here are their hours and locations. Here are the guidelines and the rules, and here is a link to request an appointment. Okay, so you can just click that, fill out, y'all say I want to schedule an appointment for Friday at 10 a.m. or whatever, and then they'll get back to you and let you know if that's available. Okay, so that's all the information you're going to need to get your test scheduled. Okay, and all the rules required for taking test over in our testing center. Also, Success Center information. This is a free tutoring that we have on campus. Again, information from our website about it, hours, location, just kind of what they have to offer, and some other things. All right, so I would encourage you to utilize that resource if necessary. All right, that's about all I have for today. If you go back up here to your announcement, please follow these instructions here. You need to get registered in MyMathLab. Then you're going to need to do your introduction. Okay, I used to do this through email, but I think in an online class it might be helpful just to get to know each other and not just you sending it directly to me, so I'm going to use the discussion board this semester. So you're going to click over here on discussions and then click on, there's one in there already that I've set up for myself, introductions, and then create a thread and introduce yourself. If you do that before next Wednesday, then I'll give you 5 points extra credit on your final. All right. Otherwise, please don't hesitate to email me or contact me if you have any questions at all. All right. And I'm looking forward to a great semester.